Hey everybody, Dr. Kevin Hyde here with Pinellas Anxiety Specialists with day 8 of 30 days of live videos. Now, I'm going to be starting a week-long series here on self-care. Self-care is typically the first thing that we tend to neglect and forget about when life gets hectic, when things get crazy, especially as parents with our kids. We put our families first and we tend to neglect ourselves and our own care. And so I think it's important to reflect on the importance of self-care and trying to find some ways that we can work it back into our schedule. And so the first thing I'll talk about today is exercise. And I'll just say that self-care is going to be different for everybody. Not everything that I'll bring up in the next week is going to apply to you, and that's okay. You know your life and yourself better than I do. And so pick and choose and see what works for you and what doesn't. And as with everything I do with my patients, I look at it like experiments. That if you give something a try and it doesn't work, okay, you tried it, you know it doesn't work, you get rid of it, you move on to the next thing. 'Cause there's so many things that we can do to try and help improve the way that we handle chronic stress, anxiety, depression, things like that. So this is just to give you some ideas of the different ways you can work self-care into your life. And so exercise, if you've gone to the doctor at all, chances are they've told you that exercise is important. If you've gone to see a mental health clinician, chances are they've also told you that exercise is really important. And the reason for that is exercise does more than just improve your physical health, cardiovascular and all of that. But we like to say that exercise is the best antidepressant and best anti-anxiety medication that there is. And of course, it's completely natural, so there are no side effects you have to worry about like there would be if you were taking an actual medication for it. But exercise releases all sorts of natural chemicals and hormones that go through your body that help you to feel good. And it's just, there are so many benefits to it. And you know all that, but chances are you're still not doing it because you just feel like you don't have the time, or it's uncomfortable. And I get that. Making any kind of change is hard, and exercise is something that when you first start out, there's going to be some pain. And now, while they often say no pain, no gain, I don't think that's true. I think that you might have a little soreness when you get started, but it doesn't need to be continually a painful process. And so the easiest thing to start doing, and I'm going to caveat this by saying, check with your primary care provider. I don't want your doctor to or I don't want you to be doing something that your doctor would say is going to be harmful to you because of a medical condition. So check with them first before you start any kind of an exercise regimen. But the easiest way to get started is just by going for a walk. And if you have kids or you have a dog, include them in that. Because just by getting outside, there are benefits to that too, of getting some of the natural sunlight, breathing fresh air, being in nature, noticing the trees and the flowers around you. There are a lot of benefits to that. So try and bring your kids with you. Go for a walk around the block. And again, if you haven't exercised for a long time, make it short. Just get out there and get started. That's the most important thing, is finding something that you enjoy, whether it's walking, running, cycling, swimming, and just get started. You don't have to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect to start. And start really small. If you feel like you're breathing too hard, that means you're pushing yourself a little too hard and you're going to burn out and probably aren't going to stick with it. So start out a lot slower than you think. Go a lot less distance than you think you possibly can, and just start to make it a habit. If you can, put it on your schedule so it's something that you're doing every day or a certain number of times a week, because all that exercise, those little bits of exercise can add up. The government recommends either every week 75 minutes of vigorous exercise, and you don't want to start at that level if you haven't done anything in a while, because that's going to be more of like your actual running, hardcore swimming or cycling, or 150 minutes of low-level, easy exercise. And so 150 minutes, that is in like 2.5 hours. And so if you figure that's a 30-minute walk 5 days a week. And if you're doing that with your kids, with your dog, you could be listening to a podcast or listening to a show that you like. So you can combine it with things to make it so it's not just taking up all of your time, but it's actually working in some other things with it. But just that little bit of exercise, getting started, if you keep doing that, if you make that a routine, a habit, you're going to see some results. You're going to start to feel better physically, you're going to feel more energy, And like I said, it's the best thing that we know to handle anxiety and depression is by getting your body moving in whatever way that is. And of course, once you get started, you can plan bigger goals for you, going longer, going harder, maybe signing up for some races or things like that. But at first, you don't need to worry about any of that. The main thing is just putting one foot in front of the other, getting out there, and doing something to get your body moving. And I'd love to hear how it goes. So if you want to get started, if you have obstacles or struggles, shoot me a note. Let me know. We can maybe set up a phone call and chat about some of the things you can do to make this a little easier. As always, I'm going to be doing one of these every day, so if you have things you want me to cover, leave a comment below here, shoot me a private message, and I will add it into the schedule. But for the next week, we're going to be covering self-care, so tune in if you want to learn more about things you can be doing to try and handle some of that chronic stress, anxiety, or depression that you're going through right now. All right, hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.